So let's talk about decision to start with. And I always like to start this particular session with the language. Language counts. So if you're taking notes, I want you to write this down. I've said this thousands of times. I don't even change it because it works. So if I was writing it on the board, here's what it says. Who, comma, besides yourself, will be involved in making this decision? All right? Who, comma, besides yourself, will be involved in making this decision. And here's why that language is critical. First of all, it doesn't emasculate the person, male or female, but what you're not saying is, well, who's really making the decision because you're just a lowly peon? It doesn't do that. Who besides yourself, because what it's saying is, of course, you're going to be involved in whatever the process is. Who besides yourself will be involved in making this decision? And here's a couple of things that come out of that, right? The great thing about training and professional selling is that I know the responses you're going to get, right? I've so cleverly crafted the questions. I've already decided that here's a series of answers, right? So when I ask the question, who besides yourself is going to be involved in making this decision? What could they say? Well, they could say, nobody, just me. Right? You hear that, right? They pound on their chest. Oh, no, it's just me. I control everything in my domain, right? Now, and that may be true, right? It is quite possible that that may be true. But here's what we always know, the person that says that, and write this down as well. There is always a hidden decision maker. There is always somebody waiting in the wings that's going to have an influence on this sale. For example, I generally work with top executives, presidents, CEOs, owners of the company. But here's what I will tell you. If the owner says yes and their controller says no, the answer is no. Right? The money person is going to... Now, this is the owner of the company, right? This is the guy whose name is over the door. And he says, yep, Don, I want to do it. Let's $10,000. Great, I'll get you a check. And I get a call back. Hey, oh, by the way, I talked to my controller, blah, 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 blah. So there's always a hidden decision maker. So the answer to who, comma, besides yourself will be involved in making this decision. Answer number one, just me. And then you have to go for that hidden decision maker, right? There's always that person waiting in the rings. Oh, so you don't got to run it past your CPA, you don't got to run it past your controller, don't need to talk to a partner or anything like that. Inevitably, here's what they say. Oh, well, yeah, I'm going to have to talk it over my controller. So now you know the controller's a player. So the answer to, nope, it's just me, is always a hidden decision maker. And you go through, oh, really, you don't got to pass this by your wife? You don't got to pass this by your husband? You don't want to talk to your VP of sales? You don't want to talk to your technology guy? Right? There's always a hidden decision maker. There's always somebody waiting in the wings. So that's number one. It's just me. Number two, they will tell you who will be involved, right? Who besides yourself will be involved in making this decision. And if there legitimately is another person involved, they'll tell you. Well, Bob in IT, right? Pete in the warehouse, Joe over here. Great. Right? So I know there's another player involved. It's in my best interest to get that person involved pretty early as well. So I'm going to go into this inclusion conversation. You know, Bob, it probably makes sense if Joe's going to be involved in this decision, probably makes sense to have him involved early in the game so any types of questions he might have or concerns he might have, we can address pretty early in the game. Do you think that makes sense? Right? Because I'm giving you such a logical position, right? If this guy's going to be involved, get him involved. Right? He's going to have an opinion. If you really want to be gutsy and ballsy, use that third-party story we've talked about. Right? Third-party story says, you know, John, I had a situation happen, right? Out of role play. It's always a bigger company and it's always more money. Right? You want them to understand, don't lie, but you want to use examples of larger situations that you've done, which is going to make the smaller situation that you're doing seem like it's a no-brainer. All right? Back in role play. You know, John, I had a situation happen a couple of months ago with XYZ company, a little bit bigger order than this, right? And they had a lot of the similar concerns you did. They were concerned about blah-bitty, 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 blah-bitty. And we finally decided that the best thing to do was this, 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 and this. This is probably maybe something we should talk about for you as well. Make sense? Right? All I'm doing is giving them a scenario very similar to the one that they had that I'm now going to apply to this situation, a third-party story. So they can only say one of two things to the answer of who, comma, beside yourself is involved in making the decision. It's either going to be me, and we know what to do about the hidden decision maker and such like that, or they're going to tell you the other people that are going to be involved. And I want you to fight hard, right, to get them involved, right, actually have them be there. There's a lot of justification. Why would you want to not Why would you want to not include somebody who's going to be pivotal in your decision right in the beginning? That doesn't make any sense. That certainly wastes your time, right? Because what happens if we, go in a direction and your partner comes into the deal and he's like, oh my God, I hate that, right? Now everybody's time is wasted, all right?